Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel Ray and today I have a 2022 finish parade for you. So welcome if you are new, and if you are not new, welcome back. And big announcement I made last time that you saw a video on this channel. I have a brand new YouTube channel that is going to be dedicated just to Flosstube and knitting and everything like that. So if you are interested in following my journeys from now on that have to do with fiber, please subscribe to Rachel Ray Fiber Arts here on YouTube. I'll have the little thingy pop up. Just click on that and then hit subscribe and ring the bell and you'll be notified when I post. I will be posting my whip parade on this channel very soon. So please make sure that you subscribe so that you can see it when it comes out. From now on, all of my cross stitch and knitting, crochet, embroidery, anything like that is going to be over here on the other channel. So, hi. It's been 3 weeks. It's been a little bit more than 3 weeks since I posted my last video, but it's been 3 weeks since I had to leave. I went abroad to the States where I'm originally from. My grandmother, who raised me from the time I was a child, passed away. And I was there to take care of her on home hospice. I didn't realize that that's what was going to happen, but I'm really glad that I was able to be there for her and see her away peacefully. And I won't be getting into that here in this video, but I just wanted to let you know that everything is fine and I'm back in Ireland and I'm ready. I'm ready to be here for everyone. So let's get into it. I had a lot of finishes. I had, let's see, I had at least 19, I think. 19 or 20 finishes. So let's go ahead. I spent a lot of time yesterday trying to figure out the order of which I watched a lot of my own Flosstube because I didn't write this stuff down, and so I don't have an exact date for everything. I'm not that kind of person, but at least I have the order that it happened in, right? So let's start with stitching. The first thing that I believe that I finished last year was a cross stitch called Sisterhood by Stitch Sisterhood on Etsy. This gorgeous piece is just incredible. So it's a portal with two hands coming out, two differently toned hands embracing with their pinkies. It's like a pinky promise with little tiny stars that match her nails, and it's just gorgeous. I really love it. This is on 16 count Aida called Midnight Roses, and this is by the Crafty Kitten. I'm gonna have to move my spreadsheet, make sure that I can see all of that while I'm talking to you. This took me a little longer than I expected to finish, but it is done now. And I believe that I'm going to finish this into my journal. I have a journal of finishes, which you'll see in just a few minutes. It's behind my lucky cat. And this piece, it was cathartic to do at the time. I started this, did it say? I don't have a start date. I believe I started this in 21. And then I put it away for a long time, and I should have brought it back out, but I wasn't really feeling Aida at that time. Sometimes I go through moods of like what kind of fabric I want to work with, and my arm is going to get really tired. So I go through moods, and it took me a while to get back into the Aida mood, but there it is. It's so beautiful. I love it. I really love it. I'll pop that down there. So the next thing that I have is not written down, of course. This is a knitted finish. So I am sharing my knits with you as well. This right here is called Pinions. And this is by Casa Pinka. This is a knitted technically it's a poncho, but I'm going to be making it into a scarf, a very wide scarf. I'm going to take you through. We have 3 yarn dyers in this piece, all mini skeins. Mothy and the Squid, the Yarn Lab UK, and there was another one. Anyway, it's on my whip list still if you're interested in what colors I used, but I absolutely loved working on this. There are ribbed sections, there are slip stitch sections, lace sections like this one. There's these really rad holes. I don't know what's going on there. More ribbing, some garter stitch. This is the monkey pants color. I remember that. This one. That's wind. If you can hear that, that's actually wind. Look at these beautiful blues as well. So I had it as a poncho for the longest time, and I wore it twice as a poncho. And then I realized I don't feel the colors are great for a poncho. So now it's kind of like a short scarf. See? But it's not long enough. So I was thinking about adding to it eventually, maybe sort of, kind of. It also works as a lap blanket. If you haven't checked out Casa Pinka, please do. Casa Pinka's patterns are very easy to follow as a beginner knitter, and that is something that's very important to me. I only started knitting in 2020, at the beginning of 2020. So I'm going to pop that in there. So a lot of the terminology and the stitches and reading patterns is all very new to me still. And I'm learning a lot, but it, when you get started, it can feel a little overwhelming. So highly recommend Casa Pinka. Next up is a cross stitch. This one is called Foxview. This is by Plum Street Samplers, if I can get it straight. 32 count. Picture this plus in the colorway Sand. Isn't it a gorgeous color? I'm not making this mistake anymore. I started dead center. Still new at cross stitch. I only started cross stitching in 2019, so a lot of these early starts, this was started on 11/12/20, so November 20th of 2020. I gave myself a lot of margin, and so I just put a teeny tiny piece in the smack dab in the middle of the fabric. I won't be doing that anymore. This particular piece, I also don't have a finish date. I think this was, oh wait, no, I do. January 23rd of 22. So relatively early last year I finished this piece. I remember that I did 24 hours of cross stitch marathon and finished this during the marathon, and I felt so accomplished. There are a couple of things that I believe that I changed in this. I noticed there was a mistake in the pattern with the little light flowers here. I changed the color of the Mossy Hill because there were a lot of weeks dye works in here, and I had decided to stop using weeks. So these are really beautiful. I have some fond memories. I worked on this piece in the same room as my mom, so I have that memory. We were in a hotel together, and I stitched on this a little bit, so I will always think of my mom when I see this, and I just think it's super cute. So these are the Animal Stacks by Plum Street Samplers, Pauline Stewart. Paulette. Sorry, excuse me. Beautiful finish. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. You're going to notice probably that I don't fully finish a lot of things. Speaking of, I'll put a picture here. This is Wakanda Forever by Park Hopper Bart, and it is gorgeous. I stitched it on 32 count Light Nothing by Mystic Fabrics, and I did my own color conversion. I did a silk conversion using silks that I got from Brandy of Bestitch Me, and I also put in a Weeks called Snowflake that I remember it had pink and blue in it, so I just did the loop method instead of like matching the strands like you would normally do. And I really enjoyed stitching on it. It was a fun, quick stitch. I think that Park Hopper Bart has wonderful patterns. You should check him out. I believe he's on Gumroad. Yes, Gumroad. So you can pay what you want for the pattern. And I started this on April 8th of 21 and finished on January 21st, 22. And I only just framed and gave it to my friend who I stitched it for. So it was absolutely lovely. Okay, next up, I actually have another picture that I have to insert. This is Seek Peace, or it's actually called Peace on Aya Rosen's Gumroad. So Aya Rosen designed a charity piece for as a response to the war in Ukraine. She asked, instead of sending her money for this chart, please donate instead. And I actually was inspired to start a raffle because of this. And this was one of the prizes, so I no longer have it. It was stitched with a Trenway silk. If you know how to pronounce that, could you tell me down below in a comment? And also a coffee craft. Oh, I can't remember the name of the store anymore. I'm so sorry. There's a dyer who dyed floss for a short time. They also do fabric. They dye fabric, and they sent me some floss to try out, and it's beautiful and vibrant and lovely, but I think they only do fabrics. So if I can remember the name of the store, I'll pop it down below. I believe that they are linked on my link haven. If you don't know what that is, that's where I put the links to everything that you could possibly need that I mention in my videos. Aside from the whip themselves, that's in the whip list. So, Seek Peace and Pursue It by Aya Rosen on a 32 count mystery ornament by Fortnite Fabrics. Next up, I gotta get my journal. Okay. This is my stitching journal that I got from, it was a collaboration between Michelle Bendy and Twisted Rabbit Creations. And I have the page ready, but I haven't put the piece in it. This right here is Quirky Quaker Unicorn. Isn't it adorable? I need to cut it a little bit better, but this is from Darling and Whimsy Designs on a 32 count opalescent, and I believe it's the same fabric that I used for the Christmas ornaments that I made in 2020. I think it's called Helix, or maybe that's what they call opalescent. I don't remember, but Helix is what's coming out. This is stitched with two variegated flosses. The pale pastel rainbow is called Whispers by Fibralicious. And then this darker one is Leo and Roxy's My Funny Valentine. And I only know that because I spent hours looking up my old Flosstube videos yesterday. Otherwise, I would not be able to tell you. So that is the Quirky Quaker. All right, next up, more knitting. More knitting. This beast. Oh, it has stickers on it. Is Slipstravaganza. I can see you. This is a Stephen West mystery knit along. The wingspan on this is quite big. I love it because it's so geometric and lovely. I will not be knitting this again. I know friends of mine that are. Not me. But the most special thing about this piece is that my friend Heike, Stone Cold Coffee Crafts, actually dyed the yarn for me. Everything except the black. It was my gift, my Christmas present for 2020. We had all gotten into yarn dyeing and fabric dyeing at that stage. And she did me a solid and did that for me. My favorite part, aside from the honeycombs, is actually this part right here. I absolutely loved stitching or knitting this way. I found it so relaxing, so lovely. The rest of it was a slog for me, but I really loved that. Anyway, this this is so big. I had to block it while I was in Germany visiting Heike, and this way. I get compliments on it all the time because it is just so lovely, but it is just, I mean, I'm not a small person, and it still wraps around me and goes all the way to my arm. That's how big this is. So if I were to actually block it properly, it would probably take up my whole living room floor. But we just did a steam block on an ironing board as a temporary measure. And I started that in December of 21. And oh, sorry, Lena. Fell down on my dog. Okay, I started that in December of 21 or November, winter 21. I finished it in April of 22. So it definitely took me a good solid 3 months though. No, I lie. I actually started it in the spring of 21, but I put it down for many months. I only had a few or the first part of the honeycombs, and then I put it away for a long time. And then when I picked it back up again, I was not letting myself put it back down because I wanted a fully wearable item when I went to Germany. I wanted her to see the finished product of her hard work. So next up is another picture because I took part in Michelle Bendy's great Twitch Verb migration. That's what it was called. And basically it was a swap. We signed up for the swap and got a partner, and we learned a little bit about our partner, and then we we chose a small bird to stitch, and you could choose whether or not you wanted it to be snarky or not. And of course I was snarky. Mine says, can we just not, I believe, or can you just not, one or the other. And that was because it was something that I heard during the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, which was a huge part of my life at that time. I was following it very closely, and I got that bird from this series. I don't know if you've seen this. This is Blackbird Designs Loose Feathers, set of 3. So we have summer, autumn, and winter. I don't know why there's no spring, but that's okay. So in the autumn edition of this set, there is this bird. And this, what it looked like originally, has a pumpkin and lots of stars and stuff. I just took out some of the stars and the pumpkin, and I added some words to it. And I really enjoyed stitching it. It's really dense, but it's also very pretty. And I used thread that was in my stash by just color matching a little bit and like fiddling and making sure that it's something that I wanted. But yeah, that's where I got the inspiration for this bird. And I love crows, so I was hoping that my partner would too. But yeah, I have this, and if you're curious, the set of 3 of the main patterns looks like that in the end. Isn't that beautiful? That floss right there is so beautiful. The great Twitch Verb migration. Then I have a small. I don't know when I started this. I think I started this September 1st for Season of Smalls. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. This, if it will focus, it has trouble with this piece. Please. This piece is called Cherry Blossom, and it's by the designer Notico. Oh, I'm shaking. Sorry. The designer is Notico on Etsy, and they do a lot of flowers, so please check them out. This is stitched on Crafty Kitten fabric. I don't know the name of it. I was part of their ornament club before they went away. So I just popped this in my Q-snap and went to town. I didn't mind that it was in the middle of the thing because I just wanted this very beautiful kind of solid pink. It's almost lavender. I don't know how to explain it. It's a slightly pink purple. Anyway, it's beautiful and I love it. And I really would like to frame this with a very thick black frame that gives you a wide margin around the piece so it looks like it's floating. That's my plan. I'm not putting this in the journal. It's too beautiful. It's got beads in it. I want this on the wall or on a bookshelf or something. So that is that. And that's just DMC. And it was gifted to me as a present from a subscriber who wishes to remain anonymous. So thank you again. Oh yes. Next up. Celebration of Fall Pincushion. The fabric for me is more exciting than the actual stitching on this one. This piece of fabric is a 20 count Aida that I dyed myself. I tried to find a busy place to stitch it, and so on camera it looks really bad. But I dyed this fabric with blackberries that I picked myself, and I over dyed the blackberry color, which you could see there are some pink spots from the blackberries as well. I over dyed with acid dye as well, so that's what the marbling with the bright royal purple is. But this is called Celebration of Fall Pincushion, and it is Lindsay Lane Designs. This was a chart that I purchased from Casa Sanina. I do that a lot, sorry. And I'm using a silk floss. And it was a solid silk. and it's really beautiful. So when I chose the colors for this piece, another Season of Smalls piece, my friend Jessie, Mislaid Pages, they run an event called Season of Smalls in September where you just stitch small things. And this is a little bit bigger than a small for me, but it was still doable in a few weeks. Where was I going with this? Oh, yes. The blackberries and then the green with the ivy. In Ireland, in the fall, the blackberries come out in September. And all that's really left around here is ivy. Once the leaves start to go away in the winter, all you're left with is ivy. So just kind of like an ode to that. And it's beautiful. This is probably I was going to make a pillow out of this. I'm not sure if I will do that. I might just put this in the journal. I've really got to try to make a pillow at least once. I think I'm just nervous. That's all. All right. So next up is a crochet finish. This is the Stony Short Cardigan by Rachel. Evelyn and Peter is the name of the company. The designer's name is Rachel as well. It's it's hard to hold up. So this is what my cardigan looks like. This is using what I affectionately call the hurricane stitch. It looks like, or like a tornado stitch. It's really cool, very puffy and lovely. This is crocheted with a Chromia yarn in, what was the name of that colorway? I can't remember it, but it actually did go out of production in 2020, and originally this yarn was meant for a different pattern, so I had enough for the old pattern but not for this pattern. We fixed it. I had a lovely Twitch viewer actually send me some, which was incredible, so thank you very much. But yeah, this is what it looks like, and I love how funky it is. It's not like your typical colors, and because it color changes and has all these like poofy stitches, it's actually really fun to wear, and I wear it around the house. It's my nice little house coat when the seasons are changing. Right now it's a little too cold to have this, but it's still a lovely thing to wear. Is that... Yep, okay, good. So I started that in summer of 22. I don't know when, and I finished that at the end of September or the early October. Might have been October. All right, I didn't give any dates last year. I'm going to try to be better about that this year. I'm going to actually write stuff down. This is my only FFO. This is Midnight Way by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I framed it. I didn't frame it well, but I framed it. This is a frame from the dollar store, basically, but it doesn't matter. This is stitched on 28 count. Where are you? Whimsy by Picture This Plus. I got this kit from a UK store. Sorry about the glare, but hopefully you can see. I apologize for my camera just gives up sometimes. My favorite part of this is Seymour, or Audrey, sorry. Audrey. And I love Cats and Bats, the Cats and Bats shop. this was a fun stitch. I should have focused on it a little bit more, but I kept falling in and out of love with it. I started this on August 17th of 2020. And I finished it in August of 22. So it took me 2 years to get around to finishing this. I am a process stitcher, not a progress stitcher. So I kind of do stitch what you want when you want. And I would want to stitch this around Halloween. So I had 2 Halloweens worth, maybe 3 Halloweens worth of stitching on this. I love the frosted pumpkin. They make such cute designs. Now, I don't remember showing this. I'm going to have to put this somewhere else. I don't remember actually showing this on the channel last year, fully finished, but I did. This is Moonrise Snail by Katie Landis on a scrap piece of Galaxy opalescent kind of linen, or Ada, sorry. And it's 18 count? It's 18 count because I did 1/1. Focus. There we go. Here's my little Moonrise Snail. See the moon phases. I'm using called for colors. This was part of a box. So I got the Savor Life in all its magic box. You can see the bag right here. Sorry about the mess. That's the bag with the project and everything. And this was like included as a little freebie. And you just use the flosses that you would use with the original pattern. And since I wanted to use less thread to make sure that I had enough for the full normal pattern, I just used 18 count in 1 strand. And I love 1 strand on 18 count. I think it's amazing. You can see that the eyes are in the right place. We had a whole thing with snails last year. Who was it? Michelle Bendy Stitchy brought out a snail with Santa. It was a Barbara Anna design. And then my friend Jasmine, knitting nurse, also was doing snail stuff. So I wanted to get out a snail and I started this little guy. And it's so cute. This is definitely going in the journal. Definitely going in the journal. Okay, I don't have a start date for this one either. But this is another knitted project. This is called the Cat Vent Cowl by Ankatan Biag. My friend Heike calls it cat and bag. I guess if you don't know, if you don't do Irish, then you wouldn't know. But it's Ankatan Biag. Anyway, can you see the kitty? I love this. This is designed so that each row has like a name, like they called where are they? There's these lateral braid sections. I think you can see that if I get it close enough. There's lateral braid. There are little bobbles. There's this one which I love. That's where the cowl connects and makes this loop. And then on the other side, it's like this. I used only scraps for this. So all of these colors are just scraps from other projects, little bits and pieces that I didn't. Here it is. This is what I wanted to show you. Little bits and pieces that I needed to finish up. You know, there's less than 10 grams. This little piece here is called cat tongues. Those little burgundy things are cat tongues. So cute. Anyway, yes. So I do need to work on my seaming when it comes to making cowls, but hey, some of these colors, a lot of these colors are actually part of a HP yarn box that I got, I think it was a 12-day mini skein set that I got in 2020, and then my feelings on Harry Potter totally changed, and we all know what happened, and now I have none of that in my life. I did reclaim the yarn though, took it out of the project that it was in originally, and I'm using it as like scrap yarn in other projects because the yarn itself is not the problem, right? So that's what a lot of these colors are on this side. And then on this side, these are all colors. I really like this side because I feel like the colors are more cohesive or something. And I love blue and purple and pink. You can see this one here was in pinions. So is this blue. I really wanted my cats to stand out, so I put them against a black background except for this one, which was a black cat. I think it's cute. I think it's really cute. And the way that you wear it. Just put it on like so. I just realized that I'm not modeling things for you very well, so I'm going to keep this on. But yeah, just a cowl. You can tighten it up in the back if you want to and make it nice and tight around your neck, or you can leave it nice and loose. It's up to you how you want to wear your cowl. So that is Cat Vent Cowl. And next up is a knitted project. Another knitted project. This is my Habitation Throw. This is by Helen Stewart. I started it in September. Did I really start it in September? It says September. Anyway, I started this and with the intention of making a baby blanket for my friend who just gave birth in September. So it must have been. I also made her a pumpkin hat. Oh, I don't have that. Oh no. I'll try to find a picture of the pumpkin hat as well, so that you can see them both. Those are both for her, and I did them both this year. Last year. The blanket was lovely to work on. Highly recommend it for scrap yarn as well, or mini skeins. Be a good way to use them up. I had some like baby yarn in my stash and some scrap bits that I thought those colors would go well together for baby Isla. One of them is still on my desk. Look at that. That's Heike's. Heike dyed that. So I enjoyed working on that. It was a nice, you could watch TV, be in the car. I could be anywhere and knit on that because it was so easy to remember the pattern. And I really did enjoy it. So I highly recommend it. The Habitation Throw by Helen Stewart. And then the pumpkin hat is actually based off of the pattern Berry Hat, which I found on Ravelry. And I did that in about 4 hours, I believe. So cute. Used I actually had the colors in my stash from mini skeins. I think I held some colors double to give it extra thickness, and it was adorable. So adorable. That baby. Next up, I actually have another picture. This is another challenge piece. So in the month of September, we began Stitchalong If, which is hosted by the designer Stitch, and it's a really fun. Hold on, let me explain this. It is the World Championships of cross stitch. It is a competitive, team-based, challenge-based, online and sometimes in person competition for the world's best cross stitchers. And it's all just for fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, if you know what I mean. But I really enjoy being a part of Stitch, and I have been a member. That's my husband. I have been a member of the team Sips and Stitches since 2019. I am happily an active, very competitive member of the team Sips and Stitches. And our first project to complete was a collaborative project. We decided as a team that we would like to create a journal of Burbs. Again, us and the birds. So I can't remember where the inspiration came from for me to find a toucan. But I found a toucan on Etsy. The designer is Teeny Weeny X Stitch, and I found a piece of that ornament cut from Fortnite Fabrics. It was a green color. I designed a monocle and a top hat, and I designed the word touche. It's a toucan that says touche. And I got a kick out of it. I love it. And then I sent it off to be fully finished by our friend and teammate Michelle Benny Stitchy. But unfortunately, the mail was not working with me. I sent that off the third week of November, and it never, I don't know if it ever arrived, but it definitely didn't arrive on time. So the picture of my finish did make it into the digital version of the journal for sure. But it was a lot of fun to stitch. I stitched it in just a few hours, and I love my little monocle toucan. I might have to do it again. And it also helped me to pull out my design software and figure out how to do stuff again because it's been a long time. But yeah, so that was in October. And then in November I started, at the same time I started this Stitchalong, which I will show you in just a moment. But also in November we went away on holiday to Tenerife, and I wanted a project that I could take with me that wasn't too difficult. My stitch is a little bit difficult. And so I ended up taking and starting socks that I then finished in December while I was away in Virginia. And so this is my pair of vanilla socks by, what's her name? Crazy Sock Lady on YouTube. So Crazy Sock Lady has a video of how to knit socks on double pointed needles. And so I got my self-striping yarn. This is called Calico Corn by Night Owl Fibers. I made so many mistakes. Okay, I will point them out in a little bit, but just admire the fact that I finished a pair of socks. I finished one whole sock in Tenerife. I cast on the second sock on the airplane as we were landing into Ireland. Then these are top-down socks. So you start at the cuff and you work your way down. I got to about somewhere halfway in this part. When I left to go to Virginia, quite suddenly, actually. It was kind of like I need to book a flight for the next day situation is what happened. So I brought these with me. I brought these and my Stitch with me, and also Trimming the Tree by Michelle. But I managed to finish this sock. No, this sock. This is the Tenerife sock. Sorry. This is the Virginia sock. So I managed to finish the rest of it at about Christmas. I think I finished this on Christmas or day after Christmas. I didn't write it down. I finished it. It just went poof right out of my head as soon as I finished it. So finished the sock. First, oopsies. I did manage to get the striping correct, so you can see that they are perfectly aligned. in stripes. They are. But the heels, they're two different heels. This is the heel that they were talking about in the pattern. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know what I was thinking when I did this one. But then again, I was on vacation. I was on a sun lounger when I was doing this part. So yeah, I was paying attention at this point. So that's one difference. And then the other difference, or mistake rather, is the toes. So sock toes, if you've never done socks before, this seam is supposed to go along the front of your toe. Like your foot is here, and the seam goes along the front like that. Well, I wasn't paying attention. I knit it vertically. So this seam right here should actually be like this. You see what I mean? But at least they match. I didn't even realize until I finished that there was a problem. So, and then these, if you're wondering, these are sock blockers, and I got them at my LNS in Virginia, which is called Center of the Yarniverse in Ashland, Virginia. So that was that. I didn't actually need blockers. These are quite large socks, so they are comfortable and they fit and they're lovely, and I'm so glad to be able to show them to you. I hadn't been able to talk about them yet. And then last thing, and then I'm letting you go. I think this is the last thing, yeah. Stitch. So as I said, we are a competitive cross-stitch team called Sips and Stitches, and one of the objects of the whole situation is to finish the stitch, and I did. This is a 32 count fabric from Bee Stitch Me called Cosmos. And my stitch says, if at first you don't succeed, embrace chaos. Oh, there we go. Embrace chaos. Can you see that I backstitched it? This is not centered properly. I made a mistake up here. This should be over by like 1 or 2 stitches. This should be over by 1 stitch. You know what? I'm good with it like this, because this just shows that I make mistakes, but I kind of just own up to that. I'm not in the right headspace to fix that right now. But because I was by my grandmother's bedside when I finished this bottom part and the flower, and I did this part up in Tenerife. That's why it's messed up. Yeah. It's finished. If at first you don't succeed, embrace chaos. I charted that myself in the software that I used with the toucan, WinStitch. So it's done. From this piece, I learned that I don't like to stitch on dark fabric, and I certainly find it difficult to stitch on dark opalescent fabric. My eyeballs with linen, my eyeballs go cross-eyed. So learning what is good for me and mine, right? This is the first time I've had water. Please hydrate. I intended to drink a lot more water during this video, but anyhow, it is what it is. Those are all of the projects that I finished, that I remember finishing this year, and it was a fun time of crafting. And I will be sharing with you in my whip parade and plans for 2023. I'll be sharing with you my intentions for the year and craft wise, and we can talk at length about that sort of thing at that time. But for now, I must say goodbye and maybe start that video. But I hope that you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to go subscribe to the new channel so that you can see what's coming up and my future videos. I would really appreciate it. I hope that you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you in my next one. Take care, everyone. Bye.